Bagan Plains are a dry landscape of brown fields and green trees punctuated with pagodas. It's only a 1-hour flight to Bagan. Since it's a domestic flight, we walk right through the airport to our bus for a short ride to our hotel, the Arum Palace. We're welcomed with cold drinks and our room keys. We're right in the middle of the Bagan Archaeological Preservation Zone. After lunch, we're eager to explore. Our first stop is Swazigan Pagoda. As we've learned, the entrances are jammed with shops selling offerings and souvenirs. Swazigan was completed in 1102. The sign says this Buddha image dates to the 15th century. The stupa is 160 feet high, on a square base that measures 160 feet on each side. The stupa is surrounded by many shrines. Many of them have intricate carvings, and the details are amazing. This stupa has the same elements as the earlier Shwedagon in Yangon. But this pagoda became the model for future pagodas. Here a pagoda is either a stupa or a temple. Swazigan is a stupa, a solid structure built to protect a relic. Our next stop is Ananda Temple. Ananda is a building with an interior space, making it a temple. It was completed in 1105. The central pinnacle is 167 feet high. Devas guard the Buddha images. The Buddhas facing west and east date from the 18th century. The originals were destroyed in a fire. The images facing north and south are originals dating to the 12th century. The interior walls are filled with niches with Buddha images. Most of the interior has been whitewashed, but some areas have been cleaned to reveal the original wall paintings. The high arched passageways, thick walls, and windows high on the walls provides natural air conditioning. We're stopping at Payatadar Temple for the sunset. The last rays of the sun light up the brickwork. From the roof, we get a great view of the Bagan pagodas. The sunset is hazy due to the smoke in the air, which adds to the otherworldliness of the place. Now to get all the tourists off the roof safely, and down the steps using cell phones for light. And back to our room, guarded by a diva. We're greeted with towel origami. We're up and out before breakfast for a hot air balloon ride. Unfortunately, the winds are too strong this morning and the flight is scrubbed. We have to settle for watching the sunrise from the Nan Mai Int Tower. The lights are still on at the Arum Palace below. The first rays of the sun light up the pagodas near the hotel. The tower is part of the Arum Palace, built as a tourist attraction and restaurant. We take our time walking back to the hotel for breakfast. This morning we're diving into the Nyaung Market. The vegetables look good, some are familiar, and some aren't. Our guide, Mr. Tet, shows us a Burmese cigar. There are dried fish and fresh fish, big fish and little fish. There's chicken and chicken parts. Chicken eggs, duck eggs, quail eggs. This girl is selling tea from Shan State. The fruit also comes from the higher elevations in Shan State. Almost all the women and most of the children wear a tan cream on their face. This is thanaka. It's for sun protection and to lighten the skin. It's made by grinding the wood of the thanaka tree with a little water on a stone slab. In another part of the market are marionettes. the sandalwood carver, and the Gong Store. These are betel leaves, artfully arranged. The leaves are used to wrap a mixture of betel nut, lime, and tobacco, which is chewed for its stimulant and psychoactive effects. I couldn't resist this little tech-savvy kid. Now we're going to visit some more pagodas. The Buli Thai Pagoda is one of the few that allow access to the upper terraces. Just a little elevation gives you a different view of the nearby pagodas. Our next stop is Thu Minlo Temple, the last temple built by the kings of Bagan. It was completed in 1219, at the start of the decline of the Bagan Empire. The central spire reaches 150 feet. Unlike most pagodas, you can still see the intricate wall paintings. Outside, the original plaster carvings and stone statues are still in good condition. The temple was damaged by the 1975 earthquake, but has since been restored. The temple courtyard is filled with artist shops. Our next stop is a group of pagodas called Kamengah. Many were damaged in the 1975 earthquake, and some have been restored. The caretaker poses for a picture. Our next stop is the Irrawaddy River. Bupaya means gourd-shaped pagoda, and it dates to the 3rd century. Legend has it that the 3rd king of Bagan got rid of a gourd-like climbing plant that was infesting the riverbanks. He was rewarded by the 1st king of Bagan with the marriage to his daughter and eventually the throne of Bagan. A few more pictures of the activities around the river. Then back to the hotel for lunch and some downtime. This evening we're taking a sunset cruise on the Irrawaddy River. At 1,348 miles long, the Irrawaddy is Myanmar's longest river. Since as early as the 6th century, the river has been an important trade route. Himalayan glaciers in the extreme north of Myanmar are the river's source. Having emptied the bar and exhausted the canapes, we head back to shore and to the hotel for dinner. We'll always remember the unique light show at the hotel. This morning we're going to learn about lacquerware. First, this lady explains the process and then turns us loose to explore the workshop. Bowls start with a bamboo frame. Boxes and plates have a teak core. Sap from the thitsi tree, which grows wild in Myanmar, is spread over the core. Then the product is allowed to air dry in this humid basement. The designs are applied by these young women. The work is tedious and demanding. Color is applied to the design and allowed to dry. Then to the sanding and polishing department. The process is repeated for each color. In case we have any money left after the lacquerware workshop, we stop by a handicraft shop. They have all kinds of things to tempt us, from large lacquer offering bowls to bronze statues, large and small, wooden statues, some nice marionettes, back to the hotel to pack our purchased treasures and have lunch. After all that frenzied shopping, we mellow out with a meditation class led by a Buddhist monk. Dinner tonight is in the tower. Sunset and the smoky haze make for a magical landscape. Dinner is a large selection of traditional Burmese cuisine. It's our last morning in Bagan, and luckily Amanda has been able to reschedule our balloon ride. As the sun comes up, our pilot Gavin gives us a briefing on what to expect. He then meets with his ground crew and they get busy. The first task is to fill the envelope with air. The baskets are tethered to the buses so they won't fly away. There isn't a lot for us to do, but watch and wait. Finally, it's time to fire up the burners and heat the air in the envelope. Before too long, the envelopes lift off the ground. The baskets go upright. Some final safety checks. We load up and we're off. More heat from the burners for lift. And we're flying above the plains of Bagan. Gavin works the ropes and the burners to ascend.
We'll move that line for you in a minute.
It's crowded up here with so many balloons in the air. And noisy, with lots of radio chatter and the loud burner. Gavin has to be on the lookout for balloons below us. Soon we block out the noise and enjoy the sweeping panorama of pagodas below us. After seeing this landscape in the 1930s, Somerset Maugham wrote that the pagodas seemed to loom large, remote, and mysterious, like the vague recollections of a fantastic dream. As the sun rises, it lights up the pagodas for us. Time flies by, as if in that fantastic dream. Gavin opens the vent at the top of the envelope, and we sit down gently among the pagodas. The ground crew mans the lines, and the envelope gently collapses. Then back to the hotel for a quick breakfast. Plane's waiting for us at the airport to take us to